Yeah. Oh, it's too late.
Hey, y'all. Hey, what's up? We are live with breaking news at noon. I am Demote the General. Salute.
All right. And I am your girl, She. And like Demo said, we got a situation that needs addressing. It is a very serious situation. So, with no further ado, I'm going to shoot it back to Mr. Demo.
So, we are covering this story that's involving a 5-year-old that had a traumatic experience. Today, we have that 5-year-old's grandmother on with us. That's right. Jacqueline Lake is in the building.
All right. First off, Miss Jacqueline, we offer our deepest sympathy and regards that you had to endure this horrible situation.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate that.
And we will not let this go unheard because this situation needs to be heard to make sure no other child has to endure this.
I definitely agree with that. How are you doing, though, Jacqueline, through all of this?
I'm doing. It's a challenge, but I'm doing.
She.
All right. First off, Miss Jacqueline, can you give us a rundown of the situation in your own words and what's going on? We just want to hear it in your words.
Okay. Thursday, I got a call from my daughter, and I work from home, so I'm on the computer, and I just told her to call me back. She sent me a text. She had to work late, so she sent the teacher a text to ask because the child be put on the daycare bus instead of the regular school bus because she wasn't going to be at home. The teacher sent back to her that the student was not at school. So she said, "What do you mean? I put him on the bus this morning." So everybody goes to look for the child. I had family members out, friends and family out, daycare workers out looking for my grandbaby. And they went to the bus barn and come to find out he had been left on the bus for 5.5 hours by the bus driver.
Did you say 5.5 hours?
5.5 hours. She put him on the bus by 7:30 that morning. I think they found him about 1:15, 1:20 that afternoon on the bus.
And as a 5-year-old, we know that a 5-year-old cannot process certain things. So,
Right.
how do you think your grandson felt that long amount of time he was on that bus alone?
Well, actually, the first day we had to deal with him saying that he had been kidnapped. And that's a lot for a 5-year-old to say he had been kidnapped.
Right.
For some reason, I'm not understanding, and the school is not helping me, whether bus people are not helping me understand. My grandson normally sits on the front of the seat of the bus. When my daughter puts him on the bus, she puts him on the front seat. For some reason, my grandson said the bus driver told him to go to the back, sit down, don't move, and don't say anything. And that's what he did. When she let the other kids off, she never did call his name. He said she didn't call my name. So if you tell him to do something, he's gonna, until you give him permission to do something else, that's what he's gonna do. So he sat on the bus, and I guess by the time she dropped everybody off and got to the bus barn, she walked off the bus, and I guess he thought she was walking off the bus and gonna come back. And he was like, "Grandma, she didn't come back for me. She left me and she didn't come back for me." So that's a lot for a 5-year-old to take.
Right. That is a lot to process. It's a lot to process for an adult. So we know that a 5-year-old can't think as well as we can. So how do you think this accident made you feel as a parent
as a parent
What
and
were
as
your
a
first thoughts
grandparent,
when your daughter? I knew you were in a frenzy,
yes,
and your mind was all over the place when you got that call.
right,
How did that ultimately make you feel? Because we know it's going to be a long process for your
process,
grandson to deal with. So,
right.
you as a parent or grandparent, how does that make you feel?
So I actually, honestly, I was on the phone with a customer taking a payment. Like I said, I do work from home. So I couldn't even process the payment, and the customer steady saying, ma'am, ma'am. So I'm like looking at the text and I'm trying to, get the customer off the phone. So as soon as I got done with that customer, I just, disconnected my service from my computer and I fell on my knees and prayed to God that he was okay.
Right.
Because of my first thought were maybe they dropped him off at the wrong school because I hadn't even looked at the time to see what time of day it was. And I said, well, maybe they dropped him off at the wrong school. And I said, he got on the right, color shirt so they'll know what school he belongs to. Then I looked at my computer and it said 1 o'clock. I said, wait a minute, now, because they would have been settled this by then. And all I could think about was he has to be on this bus or something bad didn't happen. So I was in a trance, like tears just went to rolling. My daughter was calling, she was crying, saying they lost my baby, they can't my baby. The daycare, the lady daughter from the daycare was calling. They know how I am about my grandkids, so she had to tell me, brace yourself, don't get upset, calm down, and we're gonna find him because I live 2 hours, well, an hour and a half away. So I'm not there, so it really took a toll on me to not to know where he was, and to think about him being somewhere by himself pretty much all day.
I think what bothered me the most, and to be honest, that's a horrible feeling to have as a parent, as a grandparent, as an uncle, auntie, or whatever it may be. I'm pissed off at Greenville Public Schools or whoever is responsible for this.
Right,
One of the things you said in your post was that your grandchild now is having a sleep deprivation as a
right,
5-year-old.
yes.
It looks like that they tried to make some type of amends about offering coupons. I mean,
To
what's up with
Garfield,
that?
I felt that was a
And
slap in the face. My grandson had just got off a bus that he's been on by himself for 5.5 hours. When he made it to the school, I did notice because I FaceTimed my aunt because she was at the school waiting when he got there. I FaceTimed, so they gave him a banana and I think some water. But for you to sit down with my daughter and offer her some Garfield coupons, I felt that was kind of like a slap in the face. Like, what do we need with Garfield coupons? Let's address the situation, take responsibility. Something I feel that they still hadn't did. I don't feel that we got a apology. The only thing they keep saying is we can't change what happened. Let's move forward.
sound like I've heard that before, and I bet you that the coupons were 15% off because they cheap like
I
that.
I don't even know. We didn't even look at them because I mean, first of all, what is our fears? I mean that has nothing to do with the situation at hand. So,
Right.
like
Agreed.
I say, I felt like this is a slap in the face. I would have rather accepted, we did something wrong. We are
Right.
sorry for
Right.
it,
It's all about accountability.
right. And to, see where we're at. Because like I say, thinking about my 5-year-old grandson, and this is just like my son. So just thinking about him being somewhere and he's been out of place all day, I know he was scared. When I FaceTimed him, I could see that his eyes was puffy, bags under his eyes, like he had been crying. So he probably cried himself to sleep on the bus. So, it's a lot to take in. I just wanted to touch him and I couldn't.
Right.
So, my feelings are all over the place. I stayed on FaceTime for a little while when they talked to my daughter and my auntie, but I got off because I didn't care for the superintendent's, response to things and stuff or whatever. So I just told my daughter to call me when they leave out. And I actually, like I say, it was a lot to take in for that day.
Just so we can understand, it says that your daughter gave them the child at 7 a.m. So,
She got on the bus at 7:30 p.m. 7:30 a.m. She put him on the bus at 7:30 that morning.
and he was supposed to arrive at the school 5 hours later at 12.
Yes. Well, he was supposed to be, like I say, I don't know how the system goes with this COVID thing, or what they do for attendance when the kids are not, at school or whatever. Now, normally his teacher, she always, like, if he's not at school, she's always going to reach out to us and tell us, see why he hasn't came to school, So I feel like she goes over and beyond. When he's not at school, she's going to call and see, what's the problem, because him and his mom them had just got over COVID, so they had been out for a while. For that, and she called every day to check, on them, to make sure you got to work and stuff like that or whatever. But I feel like if the bus driver had only walked that bus, even if she didn't walk it at the school, she had to walk it when she got to the bus barn, he wouldn't have been on that bus that long.
Right. Because that was going to be my next question: is there some type of procedure? How do you leave a 5-year-old on a bus, especially during COVID?
They actually have a couple of procedures. Their normal procedure is that they are to walk their bus when they make it to the school. And I'm just finding out today through the Department of Education that they're actually supposed to count the students as they get on the bus at the bus stops. They're supposed to count the students off when they make it to the schools. So if you make it to the elementary school and you counted 5 elementary kids and you only got 4 to get off, you need to walk your bus and see where that 5th child is. Also, with COVID going on, they are supposed to wipe down and sanitize each seat after their route. So that was not done either, because if that was done, you would notice that my grandson was still on that bus. So they have a few procedures that are in place to where they should walk that bus at least 4 or 5 times before they get off that bus. And it did not happen.
Right. Let me ask you a quick question. For accountability reasons, who do you think needs to take the blame and ultimately even let you know what was going on, what needs to be done, or what is going to be put in place so this does not happen to another child?
Right. And first of all, I initially blame the bus driver, because I understand we're human. I understand we have things going on from day to day. But when you take a job dealing with someone else's kids that's in your care, you should take them in like they're yours.
Right.
I feel like she should have walked that bus. It should have been, it was her job to walk that bus a few times to make sure no one else was on that bus. Second of all, I feel like now the supervisor for the bus barn, I think he did talk to my daughter that day, but no one reassured us, what was going to happen, how, where were they going to do going forward. And I asked that on a couple occasions, because I actually drove to Greenville Friday morning, and I went to the Manning office. I went to the office on Main Street, and for some reason, I keep getting the supervisor, which I feel is, and I don't want to say this in a mean way, like anything she said was pretty much insincere to me. And I felt like it got to a point where it was working a nerve, because you're still not apologizing. Y'all still not taking accountability. You just want me to move forward. Y'all just want to brush this under the rug and for us to move forward. I kept asking questions like, how did my grandson end up on the back seat when his mom put him on the first seat? And I know this because his mom FaceTimes me in the morning when she gets them ready for school and daycare. And she walks him to the bus and actually let him sit down on that first seat. So, I mean, was it something he was doing? You sent him to the back seat, I just had questions that no one was answering. What are we going to do to move forward to make sure this never happens to him or any other child again? And all she could say is, we've done all that we can do. The situation is handled, and I don't feel that so.
No, because it has to be. It has to be at some point accountability.
Right.
Somebody has to take accountability, wrong or right.
Right.
So we have to make sure, because what if this would have ended another way?
In another way.
And what if the mom had left the child in her vehicle?
They would have been ready to lock her
at
up.
a store. Then who would have been held accountable?
Yeah,
Then
they would, and we even brought that up. Like, okay, I understand, they fired the bus driver. That's understandable, but this cannot keep happening to our kids. And upon me posting that post yesterday, so many parents have reached out to me from this district saying that this has happened. School has not even been in a whole full 2 months. And this has happened to other kids, and they keep sweeping it under the rug.
that's a
So
problem.
Huge
it's
problem.
not, y'all not correcting the problem at all. You guys are still not going through the procedures, and I understand everybody's shorthanded. I understand you have people that don't want to work, right now, because I do work outside the home, part-time. So I understand it. But when it comes to dealing with kids, I feel that we should be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, because
Like I said,
they can't take care of themselves.
right,
It's our responsibility as an adult. If a child comes into contact with us, whether it be a bus driver, a teacher, a mom, a dad, a aunt, uncle, whoever, we're responsible for their child because they
right.
can't take care of themselves.
So,
I like to look at the origin of everything. And if we're going to put blame and say accountability, a lot of times these bus drivers or the school officials, they're just operating under the guidelines that they're held accountable for. So
right,
if nobody's holding nobody's accountable, and to me, I lived in Dallas for 20 years. So for me to come back to Greenville and to see and hear some of this stuff, it's really troubling because it's not
right,
just a school system. It is the whole damn city, and it's
right,
not just Greenville public school system. You have administrators allowing teachers to return to work under COVID symptoms. It's a whole lot of
right,
different stuff going on. So they're not
right.
protecting us at all. And that's what really
Because
pissed
the
me
thing
off.
that kind of, bothered me the most when I made it to Greenville, Greenville is a small town. So, everybody talks. I went
Yeah.
to school for Greenville. I lived in Greenville. I grew up in Greenville. I graduated from Greenville High. So, to get to town and they saying they have a petition going around for the bus driver to keep her job because they're shorthanded. I have a problem with it. Because what if she had left my grandbaby on that bus and they called me to say, we are sorry, but your baby was on the bus for so and so hours and he died of suffocation. You know, you have to put in place, things like that. So I don't feel that regardless of whether you guys shorthanded or not, her job is not, it's not an option, of
Right.
getting her job back because she didn't do her job in several, like I say, in several steps. You had 4 to 5 chances where you could have checked that bus and you didn't. So you think, it's okay to have another opportunity to do, and the next child may not make it off that easy.
I agree with that. I'm the type of person that I have a job and I would hate to make a mistake and be terminated for it because I
Right,
made a mistake on my job. I'm just honest. I also want to say this, though. It depends on the detriment of what you did, the severity
right,
of the punishment. So
right,
in this case, you endangered a 5-year-old's life. And then
right,
they didn't even take accountability for it. You want to just terminate the driver. What about the
right.
admin office? What about the people who's setting this camp up?
Yep,
So if you're not going to go there, then the bus driver shouldn't be the only one who take this fall. You know,
right.
it should be some more dominoes fall right behind it. That's just
Yeah.
my take on that.
Because I say, I don't hear as much, and I didn't realize that this was going on so much. So now it, do put that question in my head. So when this happens, y'all just fire the driver, and you still not taking precautions because, like I say, when me put
Exactly.
this post up, people have been inboxing me saying this happened to them. They went to the superintendent, they went to this, and some people never got back to them, or if they did, they didn't push it enough, and they wish they had pushed it enough. But we keep letting it slide. We're gonna keep
And,
letting it
and that
slide
has to
until a
stop.
child, we have to have somebody come to us and say one of our kids are dead because of their negligence before we make
Right.
something happen, before we put things in place. Like, I don't care about monetary or anything, but if it takes to hit the school in their pockets, to hit the bus barn in their pockets, for y'all to say that these are
Mhm.
procedures that we have to follow for these kids, then that's what I feel we should band together and do. Like
And we
anybody that
have
this
to.
has happened to, speak out. Because like I
Right.
say, if we keep letting it slide, these are our kids. Evidently, they don't care about our kids
Right. And there
because
should
they.
be, I didn't mean to cut you off, but there
Oh,
should be no rug big enough to keep sweeping a
our
child's,
children's life under.
because it could have turned out a totally different way. And we have to stop it.
And you can
We
only
have to.
apologize so many
We
times.
can't
If
keep,
Agree.
if
because
you
what's
apologize
going to
last
happen
week,
when we
if you
keep sweeping
apologize,
it
I'm
under
sorry.
too big, and then they're
Right,
gonna create another rug, and we're gonna
right.
keep having these rugs that we ain't got nothing to do but keep sweeping. We need to stop.
Because if you had to apologize to a parent a couple weeks ago for leaving their kid on the bus, why is it 2 weeks later now you're apologizing to me, or not even a whole apology, saying that, okay, we're sorry, we did it again. So that means whatever the stakes was 2 weeks ago, no one got, nothing was done. No extra procedures, no extra precautions. Y'all didn't stress this to the bus drivers enough to say that these are our policies. If you don't follow this, will happen. Because it's happening too soon. We've been in school since August. And to say that I have 6 or 7 other parents to say that this has happened to them, one say their child was dropped off in Dean's parking lot, which is a supermarket parking lot. Her neighbor seen the child and took the child home. One say that their baby was dropped off in front of another school and was just wandering around. Like, is it going to take something to happen to our kids for us to band together and say this cannot happen? Because with me, this is the draw. This cannot happen ever again to my
And then
child or
if
to
you
anybody else's child. Like, this shouldn't happen.
right, and if we just stand here and don't do anything, I assure you that it's going to happen again. You
Happen
already have,
again.
like you say, 6 other accounts of it, and that's just this year. We can go back
Right.
to last year and the year before that, and I'm sure that the numbers will definitely accumulate higher and higher and higher and higher.
Right.
Like I said, this really pissed me off. I'm just being honest about it,
Right.
and
It
something
should
Yeah.
needs to happen.
infuriate everybody.
Yeah. Because like I say,
Everybody should have.
it's rough, we putting our kids through this because, like I said, it's traumatizing because my grandson, he doesn't sleep at night. He's afraid to get on a bus. Even this morning when we got him up to get him ready for school, which my auntie was going to take him to school, when he opened the door, he seen a bus. He closed the door and he said, no, I'm not getting on a bus. Like, it's going to take some time. It may even take counseling because he feel we
Right.
failed him. Even, for that day, the only thing that he said was, I needed y'all and y'all was not there, and 5-year-olds, they have imagination and things like that. But if you tell a 5-year-old to do something and then you don't give them permission to do anything else, like, and I guess he feel like he was getting punished because he kept saying, she left me and she didn't come back for me. That took a lot out of him.
Right.
So, like I say, I have to see this through because I can't fail my grandson and I don't
Right.
want to fail anybody else's child. If I let them sweep this under, that means I'm failing my grandson, and that's not something I plan on doing. And I don't care what it takes, or I want someone held accountable. I want them to realize that our kids' life is nothing to play with. Because like you say, if we do it, if my daughter went in the store and left my grandson in the car and someone called the police, she was going to jail. They was going to make sure she was held accountable for this. So what makes it any different when we turn over our children to a school system? That means we should be able to go about our day knowing that our kids are okay because somebody's going to take care of them. I work at school part-time and I deal with teenagers from 15 to 17, even 18, because you're not grown at 18. And there's nothing I will allow to happen to them while they're in my store or while they're, in my care, because those are my kids while I got them. So I'm not going to let anybody come in and do anything to them. I'm not going to let anybody speak to them any kind of way because these are kids and they are in my care. I have to take, even though it's a job, they're still with me. Until they get back to their parents, they're with me and I'm held accountable for. So with little kids, and they can't speak out for themselves. Because my grandson know if he had got smart or said anything, or that's why he kept iterating that I did what I was told and I didn't move. And he just kept saying it like for 2 or 3 days. I didn't move, Grandma. I didn't move. Because if you be disrespectful, we're gonna handle you. So, everybody have questions. When you put a post, you can look for good comments, bad comments. Why he didn't just get up and walk off the bus? First of all, he's 5. The windows were up, the door was closed. He barely weighs
Say that
40
again.
pounds. They were saying
What did you say? They asked, somebody said what?
Why he didn't just walk off the bus.
The 5-year-old.
Yes.
They could barely open the door, especially a big bus door. Right. Well, couple things here. You are an idiot. Whoever said it. You're an idiot.
All right. Complete idiot. Like really? A 5-year-old.
Now I'm going through the comments, all 1,005 of them, just to see who said it. Now you're gonna make
me troll the comments.
Baby, it's down there. Lord Jesus is down there.
That's awful to think that you're gonna blame the 5-year-old for an adult's negligence, because at the end of the day, that child did what he was told. The bus driver told him to sit down, and that's what he did.
Right.
So,
what? I do want to say this real quick too. First and foremost, thank everybody out there that has liked this post that Jacqueline did. I like to say a big shout out to everybody who shared it. In 1.5 days, this post is now at 11K. Keep sharing it. Keep sharing it. The more you share it, it'll bring awareness. Yep. And the right people will hear this, and they're gonna have to do something about this, because we ain't gonna shut up, Greenville.
I ain't. You can't.
We're not gonna let it go.
You can't silence everybody.
I'm so thankful for all the support.
And those that want to stay silent, this may make them open their mouths. Now, if they see, oh, okay, well, we got everybody is trying to help Miss Jacqueline and her grandson out now. So now they're gonna want to jump on the bandwagon. So you have to be steadfast in what you're doing and keep going. Don't let one no deter you, because we got to say something, because we got to save our children. We have to, because they can't say what we can.
And can't defend themselves as we can. Right. And that's why they're dependent on us, not as only as parents, as teachers and administrators. So I think Jacqueline mentioned it earlier, as far as if I hand my child over to you into your care, then I'm expecting you to treat them like I would. You look out for them like I would. I gave him to you. No.
Right. And then somebody said he could have just got off the bus. So when he got off that bus, where the bus barn is, it's traffic. That's a busy area. So he could have got out, got lost. So where was he going to go? He doesn't have the know-how to say, well, let me go ahead and get off this bus and go and try to find somebody. Like, really?
Right.
Like, I love that comment.
That pisses me off. Like, that really pissed me off. For somebody to say he could have just got off the bus.
If you look into the actual procedures and guidelines of what Greenville's putting out, like I said, not just in the school system, through the city, it's really troubling. And to me, it seems like it's a popularity thing. If you're popular and cool, you'll get voted in, or people be on your side and all this type of stuff. Damn that. We need somebody that's going to go in and actually be there to uplift the city, to make it better, opposed to letting it go down into the dumps. I'm disappointed when I came back to see what I saw, or to see what I'm seeing. It's very disheartening. You got you have people around here that are 18 and older. It's hard to find jobs. What are they gonna work at? I mean, maybe during the Corona time they can go work at Taco Bell or something, or who's ever hiring. But typically, nothing's here for them. Nothing. So you having these murders, people killing each other. I mean, I know they kill everywhere, but I'm talking about Greenville now. You have people killing each other. You have kids being neglected. I mean, you have potholes on every street. I mean, what the hell's going on here?
Right. And we got some Facebook Miss Jacqueline, we do have a couple of questions for you. We know you may have already went over it, but they've come on late. We have someone wants to know, how long was it before they found him on the bus?
Well, like I said, my daughter texts about 12:30. At the time she texts, when in between the time the teacher texts back, the teacher did text right back. She say when she got the text, she was startled. She ran out her class and went to the principal's office right then. The principal got on it right then, or whatever. Like I say, the one of the ladies from the daycare went, and she went to the bus barn, and I say from in between 12:30, 12:40, they found him about 1:20, still on the bus.
So basically, he left the house at 7 a.m. Under supervision, and they found him at 12. What time was the last child pulled off the bus around about? So how long was he there by himself?
Right, they wouldn't give us any information. They said they couldn't give out personal information. They wouldn't give us the bus driver name or anything. They wouldn't give how many routes she had. If I'm not mistaken, I think the high school was on quarantine, so I don't think the high school kids got on that day. So they wouldn't give us a time frame of when she parked the bus. They wouldn't give us any information.
So they don't want to be accountable. They don't want to give you information. What the hell? All right. Is anybody out there have any questions or concerns, or even if you have a story to tack on to it? This is crazy.
I have a question, quick question. My apologies, I didn't mean to cut you off. On Facebook, Miss Jacqueline, they want to know, was medical attention offered to your grandson? And if so, what were the procedures did they go through to see?
They only had the school nurse to look at him at that time. Like I say, I don't live there, so I advised my daughter to take him to the emergency room when she left, and she did not follow up with that. But they just did like a small screening at the school with the school nurse when he got back to the school. Now, what all they did in that small screening, I know they took his temperature and things like that, but I'm not for sure what else was done as far as the nurse is concerned.
Okay, thank you. And I'm trying to see now if we have any more questions. All right, Facebook and YouTube, if y'all got any questions for Miss Jacqueline, let us know, and we can, or if you want to offer any prayers, because we know this is hard for anybody to have to endure. So if you want to offer any prayers, any regards, any words of encouragement to this grandmother, let us know. She's here, and we need, as a community, we need to stand behind her and let her know she's not alone, as other people have shown that they leaving her alone, but we're not going to leave her alone. So if y'all have anything you want to say to this grandmother to let her know she's not alone, and we're gonna, let me tell you something, Demo and we're gonna make sure that your story gets heard. No matter what we have to do, we're gonna get it done. We don't care what anybody has to say, none of that. So anybody has any words of encouragement, because she needs us now. She needs us.
It's a process, and it's an ongoing process, and I know it's not going to be easy, but I'm determined. I can't give up. Like I said, if I give up, I fail my child, I fail other kids. I can't give up. I can't let it ride. Like, I feel at the end of this, somebody should have been held accountability, and we should have procedures in place that will stop them from losing our kids, misplacing our kids. You know, we don't want anything to happen to anybody's child due to neglect, because that's exactly what it is, neglect.
And it's funny because if it's a dog, even if you leave a dog in the car, you'll get in more trouble than what has happened in this situation. So that's why really I'm pissed the hell off. I'm telling you, I'm really pissed off.
You better preach, Demo. You better preach. I got one more. We got some more words. We getting some words of encouragement in for you, Miss Jackie. Okay. We have Mr. Joseph Sanders. He says, "I'm so sorry this happened to this baby. prayers for the family, and you are not alone. You are not alone. And we have another Facebook user saying prayers for you and your baby, and they pray everyone is held accountable. That's all we want, accountability. At the end of the day, that's all we need, somebody to face this and be held accountable and place some measures in so it does not happen again, because it could have turned out a whole nother way.
Yeah.
5 hours, you know how hot a bus is. What if he would have been on that bus? I'm getting upset all over again, D-Mo.
And this is the thing. I feel like if my daughter had never texted the teacher, and I feel like if they had came back to their bus and found my grandson, I feel like it would have been covered up in a way. I feel like they wouldn't have reached out and told us, what had happened. I feel like because my grandson is the type of person, you don't have to ask him anything, he just tells. So I feel like he would have came home and had a story to tell, but I don't feel that the bus people or the school system would have reached out to us to tell us that he was left on that bus. I thank God that my daughter did call, text the teacher, because we would have been sitting there waiting 3 or 4 o'clock, trying to wait till this baby gets home. And he would have still been on that bus. And like I say, who's to say, because it was actually his normal bus was 165. Something was wrong with that bus, so they took out bus 142. So what if they didn't reuse that bus for that day, and he had been on that bus? It could have been worse than what it is.
Right.
Definitely.
Okay, Miss Jacqueline, we got one more. We got one more person offering some words of encouragement. My prayers are with you and your daughter. Prayers, accountability be obtained for your grandson, and he's not traumatized for a long period of time, because we know that emotional scarring can last forever.
Yeah.
And we know that this probably has been traumatizing for him to be left. That's just, even if let's just think about us as adults. If we're left somewhere and we can't get out, what would you think?
Right.
I would have a whole panic attack.
Right. We would have panicked.
Right. I agree with that, but we expect a 5-year-old to kind of deal with it and move on, as they say.
Right.
I think accountability is more than just saying I'm sorry. It's about doing something and coming up with a resolution.
Being proactive.
So that's how you make everything okay. You're right. We can't take back what happened, but be accountable. Like I said, apologize and make sure that you have something to fix this issue where it don't happen.
Right,
again.
so it doesn't happen again and again, because obviously it's an ongoing problem.
It is. I'm telling you, it's really crazy, and I think it got something to do with it. It doesn't matter where I go around here, I get the same type of service. I can go to Walmart, I can go to a gas station, I get the same type of service. So one thing that I always did when I was managing, people will meet you where you set that bar. And I think the bar here in Greenville is set really low. So people are not even reaching higher than that. So we got to change that as well. That's a piece of it coming from the top.
Because even to that day, that Thursday, like I said, I was on FaceTime with her a lot. After she left the school, I asked her to go by the police department to file a report. When my daughter walked in the police department, I can't remember what lieutenant was at the desk. She told him what she wanted, what had happened, and that she wanted to fill out a report. He was so disrespectful to her and was hollering about an ID. So I told her, I said, turn the phone around so he can see me. I say, is it an ID that she needs? Because if so, my auntie is outside and we can go to her house and get her ID. He said, well, what person leaves home without an ID? I said, first of all, she doesn't drive. I said, and second of all, she was at work when they called her when they said her child was missing. So who was thinking about an ID? I said, but if you need us to go get an ID for her to fill out this report, then we can get that done. And he just going back and forth. So at that time, I had someone that I knew to call me and say, don't worry about it. We've already taken care of that report. We're going to get that report done. So I told her just walk out, because I feel like that was very insensitive. If I'm walking in telling you that my son has been on the bus all day and nobody is showing accountability for it, and I need to file a report because it's neglect, and you're going at me like I'm the problem. It's a problem.
I agree. But that's what people do when they're wrong. They begin to become defensive and go on the offensive when that shouldn't be the case. That definitely shouldn't be the case.
So, okay. So, Ms. Jacqueline, any other words that you want anybody to know dealing with this, or any take back that you've gotten from this horrible situation?
I thank you guys so much for the support. When Mr. Dorian reached out to me, I went to school with Mr. Dorian. When he reached out to me, like in a lot of classmates and stuff, because we grew up in Greenville, we didn't go through all this when we was there. You know, times were different. Like I love where I come from, you know. So I love to see, you know, people that's from there to know that this ain't always been this way. And we need to take it back. This is where we grew up. I feel like we need to take this back. For anybody that has experiences with the school system, contact me. Because like I say, we're going to band together and we're not going to stop until they hold accountability for what is going on with our kids. Because at the end of the day, these are our kids. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just talking about I birth these kids or your kids are my kids.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we are as one. If we stand together and tell them that we're not going to allow this to happen, that's our problem. We are so divided. But if we come together and say that we're not going to allow you guys to keep mistreating our kids, then it's going to stop. If we work together to stop it, it's going to stop.
I agree with that 100%. And we're going to do everything we can, especially using our platform to get that message out. So again, if you guys are out there and you have not shared her post, please do so. Share this video too. Let everybody see it. Let everybody hear what's going on. Because like I said, we're going to be here for the long haul. Greenville, you can get mad if you want. Do something about it. Fix some shit. You know, I mean, I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't know when the race coming, but Demo might run for mayor around this thing. You hear me? I'm just saying. I bet you I'll change some shit. I bet you that. I bet you the road's going to be fixed. Shit. I bet you that. So,
okay, Miss really Jacqueline, we just want you to know that we love you and that we are here to support you. Anything you need us to do, when you have a platform, you need to use it. And we saw we had a platform and we had to use it because our show, we don't usually go on until on Wednesdays at 8. But we said we got to come on before so people can see what's going on.
I want it out there.
Doing something about it now. You know, we want to wait to Wednesday. But I tell you what, though, you know, I did talk to you, and we're not done yet. So what I'm going to do is I am going to edit this video. I asked you to come on Wednesday too with Shishi for her show.
That's
so
what I was going to ask
available.
You.
And if you
you're
get your door
available
on
Wednesday, I would like you to come on the show, Situationship, because this is a situation that needs to be addressed. And that's what we do on Situationship. We address situations. And this is something that needs to be addressed. So if you are not doing anything, you're welcome. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Come on. We're going to get this addressed and we're going to get people behind you. Because it only takes a couple of people. And then if somebody sees certain people, like Dory said about popularity, it only takes one person to say, oh, they behind them. Let me get on the bandwagon. Sometimes the bandwagon is good.
Right.
So if the bandwagon good, we with it.
Agreed.
And we just want, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say, I am so sorry that this had to happen. And I am grateful that it did not turn out another way. But we have to protect our children. We do. And we are going to. Yes. And we don't care about the politics, the who, don't say this, don't say that. These two that you got right here, we ain't caring about what none of that. So let you know that we don't care about that. This here and all of that. So
and I know off subject though, this is a piece of a conversation that I had with Rod, not about this incident, but these situations before he passed. I'm not going to go into all of it, but this is a piece of what we talked about. And I told him, I said, man, I got you, bro. I hadn't done it yet. I'm here now though. So all we need, like I said, is to start it off. And once you do that, the village will follow.
Right. The village coming. The village coming. They coming. And we got you. We got you. We got you and your daughter and your grandson.
So I definitely wanted to, again, thank you, Jacqueline, for coming on and sharing your story with us, taking the time out. We really appreciate it. Like Sheila said, from the bottom of our heart, this really kind of put a dent right here. It's like, I mean, but we got work to do. And
I thank you guys for using your platform for this.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome, Devin. Is there anything?
If you can't use it for good, you have to use it at some time. It can't be all about entertainment. It has to be for good. And this is something that needs to be addressed because it's happening too much. It has happened too much, and I see that because I didn't know it was so many incidents like that. That really alarmed me. That really alarmed me that it was so many incidents, and and a lot of people are alarmed. So,
and then that's just the stuff that we've heard about. I even heard of some stuff that I don't want to disclose because I didn't get permission from that person. But it's sick here, man. You know, I mean, some of the stuff that's happening. I mean, it's really. I'm telling you, I'm like, let's go, y'all, let's go.
Right.
But again, thank you all for sharing this video. If you have not shared it yet, please share the video. If you have not shared her post, please share the video. Guess what? Even if you shared the post, share it again. Tag somebody else, tell them to share it. Because everybody needs to know. New York need to be talking about this. We're in Mississippi. Texas needs to be talking about this.
Oh, they talking about
Connecticut.
I think somebody comment said it was that they had tagged the wrong news station. So
yeah, because they thought it was North Carolina, South Carolina. They thought it was South Carolina.
Right.
So, yeah, they've been on board.
Did we cover the fact that you did try to reach out to the news station? I don't remember.
Okay, yes, I did reach out to the news station, and when I reached out to them, they heard what I had to say, and they was like, "Okay, we'll get back in contact with you." Okay, I didn't hear anything long as I was in Greenville Friday. But before I left, I noticed they ran a news spread, about my grandson. But they had talked to the superintendent, and they were okay just because the superintendent said that it was handled and the baby was okay. You can say that he's physically okay, and like I said, thank God he's not dead, but he's not okay, and it's not okay. Even someone reached out to me yesterday from Delta Democrat, and she said when they talked to the school, she said they just gave them a vague answer saying that incident happened, but it's taken care of. No, it's not taken care of.
Right.
Because you can't assume that you all are putting things in place so this won't happen again. When you get to the point where you can show me measurements that you guys can put in place so this won't happen again and stand on it, then it's over. But until then, it's not over.
And let's be 100% clear. She don't want y'all to tell her that y'all put these procedures in place. She want to see them. You're gonna tell her what you're gonna do.
So if it takes 3 to 5 years, we're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna keep pushing until we see it.
Right.
Yep. I definitely agree. Is there anything else you want to get off your chest? Because we're gonna do this again in 2 days. But it's right now. Is there anything else you want to get off your chest?
That's it. I just thank for all the support out. I thank, like I say, you guys for using your platform. If we keep hiding it, or if we just keep it bottled up in Greenville, nothing is going to be done. But Greenville belongs to us. Like I said, I was raised in Greenville. Greenville belongs to us. It's time to take it back.
And we'll definitely do something about this audio. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We'll definitely do something about this audio.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, again, thank you. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You have a wonderful day, and
You
please
too.
give your grandson a hug and a kiss for all of us.
I will.
From all of us. And we appreciate everyone for tuning in.
Okay, and I'll see you guys Wednesday.
Make sure you let him know he got a village.
I will.
Right.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you. And you guys do the same.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So there was breaking news at noon. High Five Friday Media, Demote, the General Salute, and Shishi.
And y'all keep it locked because we're going to be talking about this more and more and more and more. And we don't care who don't want to hear it.
I'm running for mayor anyway, so what y'all gonna do? Hold on. Before we go, let me do my last look. Demo for mayor. Y'all want changes? All right. Have a great day. Salute.